Welcome to Naked Spirituality, a video blog series of sacred attention therapy and the Center for Human Awakening. My name is Rob Meager. For more information about sacred attention therapy, the Center for Human Awakening, and our video blog series, please visit our website at www.centerforhumanawakening.com. And center is spelled C-E-N-T-E-R. These video blogs support one of the Center's core activities, which is collaboration and partnership with individuals, communities, and healing centers practicing personal growth and spiritual development. And our guest today is Don McDougle, and we'll be speaking with Don about his work through the Costa Rica Initiative. And I'd now like to invite Don to come on screen. Hello, Don.
Hello, good to see you again.
It's good to see you. It's a pleasure to be with you. I've been looking forward to speaking with you, Don, about the Costa Rica Initiative.
Well, good. I'm glad that we have this opportunity to talk about that and to share what we do with the world. And I appreciate the opportunity to be on the video blog with you.
Well, it's a pleasure. And to begin, Don, could you tell us a little bit about the Costa Rica Initiative? What is it?
Well, it's something that has evolved over the last 8 years since I've been in Costa Rica. And I learned how to do psychodrama and psychotherapy in the United States, and was doing that with groups and individuals before I came here. I thought I was going to come here and just relax. And it seemed like there's as many people in Costa Rica that have inner troubles and struggles as anywhere else. And so it's kind of evolved into this, into the Costa Rica Initiative on its own.
Okay.
So it wasn't something I really came to Costa Rica with a plan, and a 5-year plan or 10-year plan, and I'll be here or there. It just little by little grew upon itself. And so, you know, I began to do individual work with people here in Costa Rica. And then they asked me, they said, you ought to do this in a workshop format, which I had never done. And so I said, oh, okay, I don't know how to do that or how that'll look, but I'll do it. And so I set up the first workshop, and I really didn't know exactly how it was going to flow. And so I put a schedule together that said, you know, we'll meet, we'll eat dinner, we'll have an opening circle, we'll take a break, then we'll have another session, and then we'll go to bed, we'll get up, you know, session 1, session 2, session 3, you know, lunch, da-da-da-da. And so each time I stood in the circle to introduce the next session, an idea would come to my mind. And so I would just put that out there. And so the basic format of the workshop, which I've done over 100 or so in Costa Rica, is still basically the same. You know, I improvised a little, took a little here, and, you know, moved things around a little bit, but, you know, however that flowed out of me that first time began to be the format for the workshops, and they were very effective. One of the things I found was that people came to a workshop and they've got a piece that was real vital for them at the moment, and they may come and do another workshop or two and get a little more, and then I wouldn't see them again. So I began to have these ongoing groups form, where we could get together on Saturdays and have a brunch and do some shadow work and do some development and just connect with each other. And that worked sort of. You know, that didn't last either. So that's when the journey came up, the idea of the journey. Now, the journey came about. I had a friend that was that every year went to that the Buddhist Vipassana,
Yes.
The silent retreat. They had one here in Costa Rica,
Mm-hmm.
and I had never been to one. And so, but he told me about kind of what they did.
Uh-huh.
And, they spent a lot of time in meditation and quiet and blah, blah, blah. And so I thought, wow, what if I could do a 10-day shadow workshop and create a series of meditations that would help people really go inside and look at every aspect of their subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then spend some days doing the psychodrama part of it to help them break through some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the journey came about. And so I worked on, and so if people that do the journey, you'll notice they're in 4 meditations segments
Okay.
that deal with certain aspects. And
Uh-huh.
that's because each day during the 10 days, they would do 4 meditations,
Mm-hmm.
and then, so it kind of, and each meditation builds upon itself. And a lot of it's similar to how the Course of Miracles is circular.
Right.
So each time we go back around, we go a little deeper, and a little deeper,
Mm-hmm.
and a little deeper.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I tried that with a couple in Quebec. I said, okay, are you willing to be my guinea pigs? And so I set it up where they weren't, and they were not seeing each other for those 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
So the man was staying out in another little cabin, and the woman was living in the house. And so they would set up their meals where she would prepare everything and would have a red tag on the doorknob when she was in the kitchen. And so when she was finished, she'd take the tag off or bandana off the door, and he would know she's not there. Because the whole idea of this for these 10 days is that you're totally alone with yourself. And we never really got into doing the psychodrama part of it, but it really worked well for them to really undo a bunch of their traumas from their childhood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this whole idea of awakening for me is I have to become my authentic self first. And when I have a lot of false beliefs or false judgments about myself, or limiting beliefs that drive me from the subconscious,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know who I am, the real me, the authentic me.
Mm-hmm.
And so once we find that authentic self, then we begin to transcend that part of our humanness and find that eternal nature which is within us.
Mm. Don,
Yeah.
you spoke a few minutes ago, or we began speaking about you're finding your way to Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
Initially just to relax, but then something started to unfold and you allowed it to emerge.
Right.
Now you have this initiative, and if one goes to the website, it looks and feels like a community.
Well, it is.
Albeit a small one. And what I wanted to ask, Don, is now, is there a vision for this community? Is there a vision for this initiative? And if so, what is it?
Well, that's kind of the story. I met a lot of the young people in college here in Costa Rica, and they began to come. And so I was living in the southern part of Costa Rica and moved up north where everybody, closer to everybody. And we began I came here thinking maybe I would find a spiritual community to be a part of, that was not all egocentric and, didn't have a guru that was going to tell everybody what to do or how to think. And I didn't find that. And so I had kind of given up on that idea, and So I was living by myself and doing these workshops in this house that I was in. It was 4 bedrooms, 4 baths,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't really need to rent a facility anywhere to do my workshops. And it worked
Mm-hmm.
really well. And as I saw more and more of these young people begin to become egoless, less ego, and really be able to understand and undo this inner conflict, what I call the split mind,
Mm-hmm.
back and forth, back and forth.
Mm.
Yeah. That's when I thought, wow, we could create our own community.
Mm.
We could create our own healing center, and based on truth and based on being guided by this inner truth within us,
Mm-hmm.
not based on all that other stuff that most communities are built based on. And so a number of the young people had finished the journey completely,
Mm-hmm.
and they live with me now. And they also began to work with people doing the journey. So it's like they're, that they've taken on this the role of teacher or support or whatever we call ourselves
Mm-hmm.
with people, and one's from Costa Rica, and so a lot of the people that don't speak English, he works with them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, some point along the way, the journey became. I had done some shadow work online with a couple people, and it seemed to work very well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gave me the idea that I could expand to other places. And people began to come to me wanting help. And so I offered them that I would take them through the journey. Now there's probably over 20 people in the world, one in Vietnam, many in the United States, many in other places that have finished the journey, and they're beginning to work with people themselves with the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So we're actually, we call ourselves a global community.
Mm.
And the family or anybody that has started or is doing the journey.
Mm.
So the whole idea of the family, that came up somewhere along the line. There was a Facebook thing that said your family is not necessarily your blood family. It's those that love you unconditionally and accept you where you are, and support you no matter what. And so somebody said, we ought to call ourselves the family. I said, okay, that'll work, And so right now I'm probably working with 25 different individuals all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, Emiliano's got a handful. Miss Fuko was from Japan. She's here.
Mm-hmm.
She's finished the journey, and she's working. She actually got her first person in Japan doing the journey. So she's been working with women and other. This guy's a guy, but so we don't go into the gender thing as much as some people may.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's whoever works with. And I'm working with a woman in Spain that doesn't speak an inkling of English, you know, and I don't speak Spanish well enough to really do that, but we use Google Translate.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And it's working really fine. She has finished the journey now, and she's in that transition period of. And I think when we finally wake up to the truth, there's this transition period of readjusting ourselves
Yeah.
to that whole new paradigm.
Yeah.
And so she's in that, and so there's a little fear going on, little indecision, little
Mm.
am I really here? Am I pretending? Or
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I'm just at that point where I'm encouraging her to just focus on the truth and don't pay attention to the lie.
Mm.
And so I'm amazed how this thing came about, you know. I had no idea that I'd be doing this when I came to Costa Rica 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now I came here, I was kind of in that transition period myself,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just really didn't fit in with a lot of the spiritual people. And I never charged anybody for my workshops. And of course, I got a lot of flack from that. People said, "Oh, you got to charge money," you know. And on our website, we got a series of videos on divine abundance and how
Mm-hmm.
that and how, you know, when you're always giving, everything's always given. When you're focused on getting, then you're in the fear of lack, and things, your
Mm-hmm.
your 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 prosperity is blocked by that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, it's been very good.
Mm-hmm.
We've the number of us that are living here now, we call ourselves the core group, have
Mm-hmm.
rented a house, and we've opened it up to the public to come from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
We've had people from Slovakia, from Russia, uh, from the United States, from Canada. I can't remember other places, and of course Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
And spend time with us and really focus on this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that, you know, still had their jobs or still had their husbands or still had their kids, and so they're doing the journey. It took a little longer than those that come and do the journey here,
Mm-hmm.
because here you don't have all that everyday distraction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's been very interesting. And now we're looking at purchasing a bigger facility with more land. And so we knew the house we're in would be just the stepping stone towards that final permanent location.
Right.
And so this new location has 5.5 acres. It's out, it's out in the country. It's got a river that flows through it. It's got a house with 7 bedrooms and 5 baths.
Beautiful.
And so, and of course, part of the therapy in coming to the family house would be to get your hands in the dirt. Maybe hug a cow or hug a goat. You know, collect eggs from the chickens. Plant some food, and really get that whole sense of
Mm-hmm.
connectedness with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're seeing that coming together, and
I'd like to pick up on that point, Don, and ask, how could people support the initiative?
well, we do have a donate button on our website,
Okay.
and we're right now in the process of getting registered with Costa Rica as a nonprofit.
Okay.
And when we have that, then we'll have a bank account that people can donate to.
Right.
And of course, a lot of people that come, we never charge anything, but they offer, they come with and offer something, or when they leave something.
Yes.
And then the people we work with online, we don't ask for anything either, but a lot of those people become our regular supporters.
Mm. Beautiful.
Because of and I work with a lot of people that couldn't afford to give us a dime.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the other reason we don't have any fees, is because it won't seclude anybody from being able to
Mm-hmm.
benefit from the work that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those that couldn't donate a dime in the first place are now our supporters, regular supporters.
Mm-hmm. Dawn, it's interesting for me to hear of the journey
Mm-hmm.
of you and the initiative,
Mm-hmm.
and the flow that has unfolded. And
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted to ask, I'm inspired to ask, what is the inspiration behind this for you?
Well, when I was 5 years old, my dad was a preacher. And I always imitated my father. I thought he was God kind of thing. And on Sunday morning after Sunday school, I would be out on the front porch preaching to the cars going by my Sunday school lesson. So I've always had this voice, or this this desire to see people heal and be whole. And of course, at different stages of my life, my skill or my ability to really help people was limited by my own limited beliefs. When I came to Costa Rica, I had this vision of me standing on this big cliff on a mountain, and everything that was Don McDougle was in a pile there on the mountain, and I was walking off the cliff backwards with my hands over my head. Now, I didn't really understand exactly what that meant, but I do now. It was just being in this place of total surrender, letting go of all the identities and all the things. And I was a businessman, I was this, I was that, all these different things. And just being in this place of being, where I was open to receive inspiration from the divine on a day-to-day, moment-by-moment basis. And so when we live in that place, all kinds of synchronistic things happen. Things show up, people show up. And it's like this interview right here, it just shows up. See, and so this is part of that flow, that inspiration that's moving us and moving you and your sinners to help people heal, and to get really in touch with the truth within them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so go ahead.
I'll invite you to finish, Don, what you were saying.
Yeah, so it's I see you and what you've done. I've looked at some of your video blogs and different things, and I know that the thing behind that is the love of God and the love of truth,
Mm-hmm.
and the love of people, mankind,
Mm-hmm.
and wanting a whole healthy world. And I tell people I'm not on a program to save the whales or the orangutans or when every individual in the world wakes up to the truth, we won't need to worry about all that stuff. So as we help people heal and wake up to the truth within them, we are actually going to bring in the new age. We're going to bring in the new heaven and earth, or whatever you want to call that. Mm-hmm. And so that to me is where it's really at. And I wake up every morning excited about who am I going to talk to and what's going to happen today. So it's it's not a humdrum. Oh, I got to get up and talk to someone. Mm-hmm. It's all right. And when I see somebody have some great breakthroughs, it's like, because I realized through my own journey to awakening, it was a lot of struggle. And I tell people I was one of the most self-centered, egotistic bastards there was, So if God can move through me and help me to wake up to the truth, everybody's got the opportunity. Everybody's got the potential to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all good. It's all good. And each of us, I call it assignments. Each of us has our assignments and our way to approach those assignments.
Mm-hmm.
And as a collective, we can move together towards making this a loving world that we live in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, Don, if someone wanted to be part of the initiative, if someone wanted to get involved in the Costa Rica initiative, how would they go about becoming involved?
Well, there's an info email on the website to contact us, or my personal email is
Mm-hmm.
embracingtheshadow@yahoo.com.
Okay.
And so I meet people every day, and they talk to me, and they want to do the journey.
Okay.
So as you're doing the journey, you're automatically part of the family,
Right.
and everybody that's in the family is welcome to come and support us here and do the journey and be a part of what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very non-exclusive, and so it's not gender or race or even religious beliefs or any of that. So I work with Muslims and Hindus and all kinds of different people from different spiritual backgrounds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At some point, I find that all that religiosity has to be dropped anyway. I think all the religions are pointing to the truth, but they all fall short.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, I went through many different spiritual ideas and paths, and each one of them was important for where I was at mentally and emotionally and spiritually for the next step. But I've had to let go of it, and move on. Even the Course of Miracles says, when you've gotten all that you can get out of the book, throw the book away and
That's
come
right.
under your God with empty hands.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't get stuck in anything.
Yeah.
Keep going. And so the mantra for the journey is further.
Mm-hmm.
So, when somebody wants to get stuck or they've had a breakthrough and they want to stop and rest, I say, that's great. I'm glad for that. Now further. And they know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the email address you referred to through the website, is it Costa Rica Initiative at gmail.com?
That will get here. There's also info at the Costa Rica Initiative.com.
Okay. All
Or
right.
my personal one would be Don at Costa Rica Initiative.com.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, and if I get an email through any of those, then I will direct you. And you want to do the journey,
Right.
I'll direct you to the Embracing the Shadow. I keep everybody in a folder and a file, and
Sure.
keep that. We're beginning to write a book too. I just want to throw a little, and we haven't got the whole name of it yet, but it'll be the story of basically just before I came to Costa Rica, what was going on with me, how I got here, the experience of my having to let go of everything for the first couple of years in my exploration of trying to figure out what the hell I was doing. And then the beginning of the shadow work with individuals in the workshops. And so it'll have a lot of case histories
Mm-hmm.
of people that I've worked with. And I've invited over 60 people that I've worked with to participate in the book, sharing it from their personal perspective and their personal experience,
Mm-hmm.
where they were. And so a lot of that, I kid a lot of them. People, Nasuko, when the first time she met me, she, hello, Mr. Don, hello, Mr. Don, hello, Mr. Don, and I thought, hello, Mr. Nasuko, Mr. Nasuko, Mr. we joke about it now, but that was part of her cultural.
Yeah.
I'm an old man, I'm old man, I'm gray hair, so you show all the elders respect, and I don't wear robes and I don't wear beads and I don't sit there with a flower and quote sad things or anything, but I'm just another human. But I come from this place of total inclusiveness to the world. And many, many times I envision myself holding all the world
Mm.
and just loving every individual and every country and every nationality and belief, and just because that's where we're going. That's where we're going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what.
Mhm. Hmm. It's a beautiful place, I think, to leave it for today, Don. I want to thank you so much. The contact information, the email addresses, and I'll put up the website URL in the scrolling credits at the end. I'll bless you and I'll wish you and the family around the world well. And I want to thank you for joining us, Don. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Bye-bye,
Much love.
Don. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.